We can look at the table view in order to see what's in the attribute table. So if we open up an attribute table for a layer, once again, the records, each one of these rows represents a different feature in the feature class, such as this looks like the states of the United States, and this would be the state of Hawaii. Each one of these columns is going to be a field and can have different values like this state ID number, which is listed here, or what subregion it's in. We also have table options where we can look at other options for viewing the table. And we also have a status bar. In this case, it's showing that we haven't selected any of these states. 0 of 51 are selected. And this is probably 51 because it probably also includes Washington, D.C. in addition to the 50 states. If we right-click on any of these columns here, then we can get different sorts of things that we can do. We can sort the columns, so if we want to sort by the name, we could sort ascending or descending here, or we can calculate a field if we want to make a different calculation. We can summarize, or we can even delete this column from the attribute table. So you can make permanent changes to the attribute table as you're in this table view, and potentially not just viewing, but also editing this table. So just like the layers, table views have properties that affect how the tables are viewed and displayed. The settings are cosmetic, so you don't have to worry too much about those. But some of the common ones are the alias for field names, the formatting of the field, displaying only some of the fields, or changing the field order. So all of these things will change what you're seeing, but they're not actually making permanent edits to the attribute table. If you want to actually change properties of the attribute tables, then you would go into the fields view. So with the fields view, you're just looking at one particular field. And you're able to view and modify properties within the table here, including, for example, the name of the field. So in this example here, we're in the fields view, and the default is US states, which on this drop-down menu is one of these two choices. If we make a change when it's on US states, this will not make a permanent change. However, if we go to the data source under this drop-down menu and then retype this in, like Caucasian or some other word, then it will permanently make that change. But we have to be careful, right? We could misspell that word. It could be WIHTE or something like that, which would be a permanent change we would be making to our attribute table. And this could really have an important influence. For example, if we were joining this to another table and we were relying on this field name, if we misspell that field or use a different field name, then that join may no longer work. So it's really important when you make these changes in your fields to make sure that you understand that you're making a permanent change and understand what other sorts of implications that might have. So some of the types of changes in the field view include both cosmetic and permanent edits. The cosmetic edits would be like what fields are being displayed. You can set a read-only status. You can change the display width. You can format numeric options. You can highlight a field, or you can change an alias. But once again, those are not that important because they're not making permanent changes to your attribute table. Some of the permanent edits that you can make in the field view, or you can add or delete a field. You can change a field name. You can change the defined storage width, you can create domains, you can create subtypes, and you can change an alias. And that alias is going to affect all map table views and projects. So that's a very important change.